Hello everybody. I thought I would sit down today and do a bit of a question and answer. I get so many questions asked of me. I thought I would take this opportunity to sit down and answer a few of them as best I can. I do have a little cheat sheet just to keep me on track because you know I love to chat. The first one is, how long have you been traveling? I've been traveling for just about 9 months now. And yeah, I've loved every minute of it. I left England on the 1st of November 2022, and we are now in August. So yeah, about 9 months. As you might be aware, I am traveling solo. So a lot of people, the next question they ask me is, do you feel safe? Well, the short answer, yes, absolutely. I have travelled to New Zealand, Australia, Bali, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and back to Thailand. And I can honestly say I haven't once felt unsafe or like I shouldn't be walking down a street or made to feel uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I don't put myself in situations though that might put myself in an awkward situation. So after dark, unless I'm going somewhere very close to where I'm staying, i.e., actually in my hostel or hotel or a bar or restaurant, literally within a 2-minute walk of where I'm staying. Though I have been to a couple of markets after dark, walking around, they've been always close to where I've stayed. Like when I was in Hua Hin, I opened up the door to my hostel and I was right there on the night market, so I could just quite safely walk up and down and I knew where my hostel was to get back. I also get asked how much I'm spending on average monthly backpacking Southeast Asia. I will come back to that at the end. The next question is hotels or hostels? A lot of people say to me, oh, I could never stay in a hostel, sleeping in a room with all those people. But actually, when you're traveling solo, it's really nice to connect with other people. Right now, I am in a room on my own and I'm loving it. But that's because I had a lot of editing to do. I wanted to do some filming. And it is a little weird trying to sit in a dorm room with a load of other people trying to talk to you. But every now and again, I will bring myself away and book myself into a private room. But to be fair, I do really like hostels because you're in there in a room. It gives you people to connect with, to talk to. And actually, hostels of today are not like they used to be years ago. 9 times out of 10, you've got your own little like berth. You've got a plug, a light. A lot of places have a privacy curtain, and when they don't, I've got my extendable washing line, which I try and hook up and then put a towel over just to give me a little bit of privacy. And also when somebody comes in the middle of the night, a little on the tipsy side and turns the light on, it just stops any of that. But yeah, I have to say, if you've never tried a hostel, try it. You never know, you might like it. So next is, how far in advance do you book? Well, to be honest, not very far. Probably the most I book in advance is maybe about a week. I've just booked my next trip and I booked it 3 days ago. So yeah, I just tend to go on how I'm feeling and look at what the weather's doing as well, which is normally hot, hot, hot. It is rainy season and low season at the moment, but in all fairness, it tends to like rain. And when I say rain, I mean rain for about an hour or just in the evening, and then it clears up again. But just a couple of days in advance. And also, if I'm booking somewhere new to stay, I tend to book a night or two because there have been times when I've booked somewhere and gone, oh, I don't want to stay here. But I've booked for a week. Two places spring to mind actually. So yeah, it's a learning curve. I have definitely learned to book a couple of nights, or what I did when I came here is I turned up and I said, can I see one of the rooms? And I came up and I had a look around, and then I booked for a fortnight. That's how long I've been here. It's been really nice to sit and settle, especially after my trip to Vietnam, which was, yeah, I needed a little bit of R&R just to get myself feeling, because when I came back from Vietnam, I was mentally and physically exhausted. And that brings me on to my favourite place. Everybody asks me, what's been your favourite place? And the truth of the matter is, I haven't got one. How can you choose between New Zealand and Bali, or Australia and Vietnam? They are just different, and each place has amazing things to offer. You can't compare one to the other because they are just so different. It's more the people that you meet. And actually, last night, got chatting to somebody and they interviewed me at the bar. I will put a short clip of that in here now.
We were just talking about the difficulties of travel and also the joys of travel. Early on, had a very lonely time in Bondi. That maybe that sort of set a bit of, let's say, tone so that you could actually say, okay, well, it doesn't have to be happy every day.
The people you meet that leave the most lasting impressions. I've visited the most beautiful places, but actually it's the people you meet and the conversations that you have that mean the most. I'm just going to jump in here and say, if you're liking the content and following me and you haven't subscribed yet, please, because it really helps me out. Like the videos, drop me a comment. I do reply to every comment. It would be really nice to hear from you.
You just mentioned being in a place in New Zealand, and you're sitting there and you're having a glass of wine and you're just by yourself, and then what happened?
So I met up with a group of people and it was a girl's birthday. Literally the guy picked up my glass of wine and moved it to their table. For the next 2 or 3 hours I joined them as locals, and it's those memories that I will take with me from this trip.
When do you leave this country?
So I leave here, today is Friday, I leave on Monday to go to Laos.
Wow, what does that hold? You don't know, you do know, you
I've
have
never
an idea?
been. I'm just going to go with an open mind and an open heart and see where it takes me.
Fantastic hearing and fantastic speaking to you, Dan. Bye-bye.
So yeah, as I said, it's the people you meet. The places are fantastic, but you meet the best people, and sometimes it's them that leave the lasting impressions. And when you think of a place, you automatically think of that person. And that nicely brings me on to, do I regret what I've done? I sold my business. I sold or gave away everything that I own to come and do this. Do I regret it? Is there anything that I regret? I can hand on heart honestly say I do not regret anything. Yes, I miss my family and friends and my beautiful grandchildren. But do I regret this? No, because I hope that I'm showing my grandchildren there's something that you want to do and you set your mind to it. Just go and do it. You get one life and you have to live it. I've been married. I've been divorced. I'm a mum. I'm a nan. I've been a business owner. I've got so many things that are part of me and the person of me. Do I get lonely? I suppose sometimes, not very often, because as I say, I stay in hostels, so there is a group of people there, and I am an open, chatty person, so I do tend to connect with people. Maybe that's my hairdressing background. I'm used to strangers coming in and making conversation. So yeah, there's a few times when you sit on a beach on your own watching the sunrise, but I think rather than seeing it as being lonely, I just think of it as being peaceful. Would it be nice to have somebody to sit and say, look at that sunrise? Yeah, sometimes it would be, if I'm being completely honest, but also it's nice to take time for yourself. I've learned, as I say, I've learned so much about myself. I've learned that I'm much stronger than I ever thought I was. And I've actually learned, you know what? I like myself. I am a good person. Asked how much I'm spending on average monthly. I've got an app which I try to log pretty much everything from my accommodation to my travel or my food or my drink. When I did my open water diving exam, I try to log all of these so that I know whether I'm going above or I'm on track. On average, I am around 800 UK pounds per month. Sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes it's a little bit more. In Australia, it was quite a lot more, and New Zealand actually. In Southeast Asia, it is a lot cheaper. Yes, you can spend a lot more if you stay in the nicest hotels, but actually, I like the hostel life and mixing it up between hostel and private room. If you have any other questions, drop them down, leave me a message, and I will try and answer it for you. I hope you've enjoyed this little Q&A session and maybe got something out of it, learned something about me and my travels that you didn't know before. And with that, I'm going to go off, finish my tea, and go out for the rest of the day. Cheers!